Thanks to resub Gliz. Alright, let's start from the beginning. This has been like my most anticipated show of the entire year. Coffeezilla's 3-part deep dive into Logan Paul's crypto scam, Coffeezilla. So I'm extremely excited, and I'm super happy to see Coffeezilla go so hard on this. He's gained like almost 400,000 subs since posting these videos, something like that, and he deserves it. I know he spent quite a few months investigating this. I know he's also reached out to Logan Paul numerous times to try and get his side of the story, but has been dodged and ducked every single time until he finally posted this video. I saw Logan Paul's tweet saying, actually I'll just pull it up instead of paraphrasing. He did the standard, I used to love Coffeezilla, and I always think he gets everything right. Until now. Now he fucked up. Like, this is very cookie cutter. Somehow, every single time Coffeezilla talks about some kind of big scam like this is always the response. While I generally appreciate Steven's creative genius and exceptional work ethic, I mean that, this one is simply not true. When appropriate, all bad actors will be exposed, explained, and held fully accountable. I'll speak further on Impulsive January 3rd, which to me reads more like an advertisement for his podcast than anything. But I always just love this first line because this is boilerplate at this point. This is what everyone says when Coffeezilla makes a video about them. A creative genius, one of the best in the business. Ace detective, like Benoit Blanc. But this time he fucked up, trust me. This time he's wrong.
Cryptozoo.co. I am so excited about this project. It's so fun. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
A fun game that earns you money.
Pay to
How much did
earn.
you guys make from Crypto0?
I lost around $50,000 in CryptoZoo.
Oh.
I lost $40,000.
I lost around 15,000 US dollars.
I lost $25,000.
$120,000.
This is absolutely shocking to me. These aren't children. You're telling me these adults watch Logan Paul? Or did they had to have just heard about this from like crypto subreddits, discords, all trying to like hype train the shit out of this? I refuse to believe that this is Logan Paul's audience. No fucking shot. He probably had no idea Logan Paul was even involved with CryptoZoo. Thanks for some Corvo, Luxurious, and Cody.
$500,000 Australian, which is $500,000 in CryptoZoo.
Shut up!
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 500K.
Oh, no.
Today we're investigating Logan Paul's
Yikes.
Crypto, a
Oh my
blockchain
God.
game that made millions but never worked. Some of you guys think you know the story, but it goes so much deeper. I've uncovered sociopaths, billionaires, fake orphans. Did I mention fake orphans? And of course, at the center of it, we have Logan Paul himself, who has abandoned this thing,
WWE
leaving
superstar,
thousands of
baby.
fake orphans in his wake. Wait a second. Thousands of victims in his wake. Now, you'll be hearing from some of those people because their stories are heartbreaking. This is the first in a 3-part series that's been a year in the making. And if you like high-effort investigations like this one,
Here's a prime
please
you.
consider supporting this channel on Patreon. I don't take sponsors. We are viewer-supported. So if you want to and are able to, thank you. Either way, enjoy the video.
Amen.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. We have a massive team behind it. And
Real quick, you might be asking yourself, well, what experience does Logan Paul have with NFTs? And that's a great question to be asking, and I have the answer. He was actually a pioneer in NFTs, and in fact still has some of the best NFTs of all time, such as... are these still up on OpenSea? Well, here's his NFT Pokemon cards. Beautiful stuff. Obviously, very high quality stuff, and I mean, only $10,000 for that, so I mean, reasonably priced as well. Where are his... He used to sell clips. So you could pay thousands of dollars to get an NFT clip of him boxing. Which was a fucking bargain. Honestly, just giving it away at that price. You get like 15-second Twitter clips of his boxing matches. Where are they? Where the fuck did they go? Wait, did they get scrubbed from the internet or something? What the fuck? Gotta love these headlines. Lost millions on his NFT investments. W. Where the fuck are his old video NFTs he used to sell? Okay. Well, that's a shame. No, but at least you got to see his NFT Pokemon card. There's a resub. Apple, Flux, Vuxed, and Tier 1 Glass. Dink Doink, is that what they were called? That sounds like it's just gonna bring me porn. Logan Paul allegedly helped create the new Dink Doink cryptocurrency scam. Oh, I remember this one. I didn't hear too much about it past the initial, like, oh, silly name. I'm assuming it was like a pump and dump thing. Huge. Where the fuck? I'm so upset that he got rid of those videos. Do they still have the Pokemon card up? Oh, wait, here. No, this is Jake Paul doing it. Oh well. It'll just remain as a memory. Coffee talks about it in the video. Oh, okay, good. Thank God. Thanks, Resub Rectum.
And are probably out of pocket like $1 million just because we believe it's going to work. September 1st, cryptozoo.co.
We don't scam.
That's
I've
fine.
never scammed anyone before. Logan cares extremely deeply about his audience, loves his brand, doesn't have to scam to make money.
True, but you make a lot of money doing it, I imagine, so.
Welcome to part
The cookie
one,
jar
the
was too
million-dollar
appealing.
mystery that began this whole story. Like many people, I first heard about CryptoZoo from a podcast Logan runs called Impulsive, which was the experience of a lot of people that I spoke to.
So I first heard about it on the Logan Paul podcast.
Impulsive, I think.
It was off one of the Impulsive episodes.
The thing that I'm most excited for, and this is the first time I've ever said anything about this, for the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. I think there needs to be a fresh take, and this project that I have is that fresh take.
Now look, at first,
Yep,
I was
let's
just as
go.
surprised at this pitch as anyone else because I just got finished roasting Logan for a different coin called Dink Doink, which is
Dink
fans
Doink.
lose money on.
I'm a Dink Doink fan. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. That's why I'm all in.
It's comedic. It's fun. It's comedy.
Now look, I know Logan and his friends tried to make it look like Dink Doink was all about the memes, but it turns out they secretly were tied to the project, and Logan created the Dink Doink character himself and subsequently abandoned that project. So if you invested in it, you got blasted, and Logan rightfully took a lot of heat for Dink Doink, which is
Huge.
why I was surprised when he seemingly immediately jumped into another crypto project. But Logan insisted CryptoZoo, it was different. It wasn't his friend's project this time, it was his. And it wasn't even a project at all. It was a game that could earn you money.
I'm excited to launch.
Called Pay to
You
Earn.
keep using and you
Or,
just did it
Jesus,
again. You keep
play to
using a
earn.
word there. Game. You're not using like a project. It's a game.
It's a game. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
Now you might be wondering, how's it possible to earn money from a game? Well, let me try to break it down for you. This is how it was supposed to work. You started by buying this crypto token called Zoo, which is their in-game currency, and you use Zoo coins to then buy egg NFTs, which you can then hatch to become animals. You then can breed those two animals to become hybrid animals. For example, if you breed a gorilla,
What a fun
and
sounding
kitten, you
game.
get a gore kitty. And the more rare the NFT, the
I get to
higher
breed
the daily
animals?
yield
Sign
of
me
Zoo
up.
tokens that animal earns you every day. Theoretically, it works like almost like passive income. You can then burn your animal NFTs to release the zoo they earned back to you, and from there you can invest it into eggs or just cash out. Now, some of you of the Egyptian persuasion might notice some triangular qualities
No, that's a
to this game
coincidence.
description. But let's not be too quick to judge, because remember, there are a lot of NFT games built on this model. It's called play to earn.
Yes,
now,
sir.
Logan admits that there are other games like his, but what's going to really make his stand out is that other games have randomly generated assets. His game has handmade art.
It's quick to make a digital asset with, you know, unique, randomly generated characteristics. We handmade art for the past 6 months, bro. Approval, very specific notes, 10 different artists making art for our project.
That doesn't
Now,
sound
I'll
like a
admit,
lot of artists.
This all sounds
for that.
very enticing. Handmade art, a
Not
fun
really.
game that can earn you
Doesn't
money.
sound
and
enticing.
one of the biggest influencers in the world backing it. You might think, how can I lose? Which is why when people were told all you had to do to play was buy an egg, people spent millions. Just on the first launch between ETH and Zoo, people bought $2.5 million worth of eggs in the first day. And did I
Wow,
mention
okay.
the game hadn't even been launched yet? All people were buying was the marketing and the promises. And it wasn't just the NFTs they bought either. The Zoo token
Hammy,
also
Cherry, and
skyrocketed
Soko.
in value, reaching a $2 billion market cap pre-game launch, right? The trading volume was in the tens of millions of dollars per day, which kind of is like Fortnite not coming out, but people trading tens of millions of dollars in V-Bucks every day. That's what this was like. And I know it sounds stupid to buy an influencer project, but you have to understand, people saw Logan as different.
It was Logan Paul at the end of the day. An internet personality that I actually trusted. That I actually
Why?
kind of
What did?
believed
What?
in.
Obviously,
Well,
when
I feel terrible that that happened to you, but what? What in the history of Logan Paul has earned anyone's trust ever? Like, I can't think of anything he's ever done that was honest. Like, I legitimately can't. Except for him saying that he made a repeated lapse in his judgment when he filmed a dead body. Like, that's like the only thing I can think of with like honesty associated with Logan Paul. Thanks to resub Tiffy and Infinite. Prime, maybe? Well, this is... Well, no, actually, this isn't pre-Prime. But yeah, I mean, Prime did come out. I've tried it. I mean, it's a real drink. I wasn't instantly poisoned or anything. It was fine. I actually thought it was good. But I'm just going to chalk that up to KSI. I'm just going to say KSI did everything because I legitimately have no trust in Logan.
someone so influential releases something, everyone wants to be a part of it.
I still believe in this false fallacy that everyone else started believing, that Logan Paul's a changed man.
I thought it was a safe place having a guy like that identified, like Logan Paul being the head of the project.
They had seen this story he had been telling everyone, that he was this reformed influencer, right? That he was no longer a reckless clout goblin just in it for the money. They thought this time it's different. Logan Paul couldn't possibly scam us, right? But as the game got closer to release, the Crypto0 team started releasing the first ever photos of these animals. And come to find out, this handmade art story wasn't really true. It was actually Adobe stock photos mashed together. This was the sort of first red flag of this project.
Hey!
And I made a video about it at the time, but it was kind of surface level, and something didn't add up beneath the surface. Something where I just couldn't shut this case down.
I actually
in my
had no
head.
idea about that.
It was actually part of the announcement video that something they said. See if you can spot it.
We have a massive team behind it and are probably out of pocket like $1 million just because we believe it's going to work.
On development.
Yeah.
That's the line that started this whole mystery. We spent $1 million on development. I couldn't get this out of my head. You know, is he lying? There's no way he expects people to believe he spent it on art. So wait, maybe he spent it on blockchain stuff, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah, like a
But
team.
then I audited
Salary.
the smart contract, and it's not handmade at all. It's not even original. It's what's called a fork, a copy of, you know, some other code that exists out there. One of them is called Floki Shib X, which launched before it. So where did this $1 million go? I didn't understand. And Logan just kept repeating this claim.
We put hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. Personally, the whole team, $1 million. plus.
Now, at the time I'm looking into this, there's a teaser going around for Hatch Day, which is the day you can hatch your egg NFTs. And it kind of symbolized the true launch of CryptoZoo. So I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is where they spent all the money on their game. Even their community manager, Ben Roth, promised people, after Hatch Day, things will take a turn for the 180. So I put Ben Roth on the board too. I needed to know all the characters in CryptoZoo. And I waited. And finally, on November 3rd, 2021, Ben Roth turned out to be right. Things did take a turn on Hatch Day, only for the worse. Let's meet one of the victims, Helicopter Bob, to explain more.
My name is Rob. Helicopter Bob lost just under $7,000 with CryptoZoo.
And the first thing I asked Bob was about his animals. If he was making money with CryptoZoo, how much he made, and
how many animals did you breed?
Worked.
Oh, it never did from the beginning. It wasn't even written into the contract where it showed that you were actually yielding zoo, but there was nothing that was actually, backing that up. There was no way to claim your yield. There never was.
Wait. Play that again. Did you hear that?
There was no way to claim your yield. There never was.
Hold on.
I can't
believe it.
The
core mechanic of crypto that you can make money with these stupid animals didn't even work on launch day, and still, to this day, a year later, still does not work, is what the investors are saying. Which, this is just crazy. People spent millions of dollars on these eggs. But it even gets worse because I kept talking to people and I discovered something. Because remember I told you you could buy eggs with those zoo coins?
Is this project currently still up? Let's see. It is. Wait, actually it is. So can you still not claim your yield? I don't even know why the fuck I'm asking. Of course you can't. Obviously you fucking can't. This was never designed to be real. What a dumb question. Their last tweet was May 27th.
They also made it so you could buy them with Ethereum. And on the day of selling, about half of these purchases took place with Ethereum. Only it turns out for the people who spent ETH, not only did the yield part of it not work, did the NFTs not pay you, you also couldn't even hatch them.
So I acquired a bunch of eggs, and I actually want to play the game. I didn't acquire the eggs with the intent of keeping them. I actually wanted to hatch them and see what I got out of them and play in this ecosystem that's...
I am sorry this happened to you, my friend. What compelled you to want to play this game? There is no game. The game is you buy an egg, and then we give you a stock photo of what this animal might look like with a goofy nose. What is the game? Like, the only reason anyone would have ever put money into this is off the hope that they're somehow able to make a payday out of it. Like, cash in their yield for some kind of profit. There is no, like, actual game mechanics. It is, here's a couple pictures you can look at. That's it. That's fucking it. Jesus. Just the worst Pokemon. It's not even a Pokemon at all. Like, even, let's take a card game. Even a card game has game mechanics. You play against someone, there is a goal, there is something you do, there is an actual gameplay element to it. Here, the gameplay is you hatch an egg, and we combine this photo of a moose with a photo of my cat. And that's it. And now you have played our game, and now you can either choose to keep that picture and hope it appreciates in value, yield some more zoo, or you burn it to acquire your zoo. Those are your two options, neither of which constitute a game. Jesus Christ. There's the prime chicken, and the resub Bushido.
It's been advertised or whatever, right? And then I can't do anything. It's not showing up on the website when I connect my wallet, etc., etc. So I'm a little baffled. I'm like, I must be doing something wrong. So I open up a support ticket. I open up a support ticket with CryptoZoo, and Ben Roth is actually the person answering my support ticket. Oh yeah, no, it's down for the moment, but we're working on it. Let me tell you, it's never been up.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No, I'm telling you, it's just a picture. There's nothing I could do with it.
You're kidding.
That's
You
the whole
can't
game.
hatch?
It's just a picture. Even when you can hatch, it's just another picture.
You can ask any of those community guys. It's basically worth nothing whatsoever.
Wow. So on launch day, basically nothing worked. And a year later, that's still true. Now, after this was discovered, the price of Zoo fell 63% in just 24 hours. And at this point, Logan Paul basically goes silent on CryptoZoo. No more podcast mentions, no more saying he handmade art. CryptoZoo already got millions in investments, but Logan only speaks in the Discord twice over the next year to say, quote, sober, currently shaking my head, and yo. That was his contribution to this project. Meanwhile, his community manager, Ben Roth, was actively claiming that Logan was going to be marketing CryptoZoo any day now. He told people things like, Logan is an uncontrollable marketing guru. It's over when we launch. And when we have a product to market, it'll get marketed. And marketing will crush. I promise you. And this disconnect between Logan abandoning the project and his team on CryptoZoo saying that it was going to be any day now, left investors feeling like they were being led on.
All he had to do was go on and tell us, look, there's something going on with this project, I'm abandoning it, or whatever, before people got more and more trapped. And promising, yeah, this is going to be great. But when it came to actually doing anything, he just hid away from it.
Have some decency to come out, talk to the people that invested initially, that invested along the way on all of the fake and false promises, on all of the false hype, and be honest with people.
Because surely Logan Paul, who's got this billion-dollar hydration company and a WWE star, he's got enough money. He doesn't need to rug us lot.
And it's because of these false promises about marketing that these poor investors believed in CryptoZoo so long. They sat and watched every
It actually
Logan
is
Paul
very
episode.
impressive how far you can get when people just believe that you're too wealthy to exploit them. Like, if someone just believes you have so much money, that for some reason makes you trustworthy. That's wild to me. Because I'd always think it's the fucking opposite. Thanks to the tier 1 Zed, and the Prime Mac, and the resub Giuseppe. Damn. Well, no, that's not exactly the same. The Elon comparison, that's not exactly the same. Because you're not, like, investing in Elon. I'm talking about it more from, like, a perspective. I'll use a different example. Andrew Tate. A lot of people view Andrew Tate as, like, infallible because he is very rich, or at least he portrays himself as very rich, and he portrays himself as someone who gets a lot of pussy. So those two factors make people believe that everything he says is right, no matter what, and that he would never take advantage of him because he doesn't need to. He's already too well off. I'd say that's a more apt comparison to what I'm talking about. Thanks for the gift sub, Josh, and the resub Chai, Muffin, and the Prime Green. And the resub Gogeta.
Trying to guess and decipher when this so-called marketing push would happen. And Logan and his team really fed into this with a lot of cryptic messages. Only a month after CryptoZoo's launch, actually, the hatch day, they started teasing this.
Not too much of this is out, but he's been working on a massive project.
And one of them will be the biggest thing I ever do. It's like my life and soul is put into this project, which is where most of my time these days goes.
Wow, surely this secret project that Logan put his soul into is CryptoZoo, right? You know, the project he launched a month ago? Well, his fans certainly thought so.
I'm like, holy cow, it makes so much sense. He's talking about CryptoZoo. Ben and the dudes are like putting smiley faces and egging the rest of the community. Like, this is it, guys. You know, this is what we've been working towards.
That's so shameless. That's so common in crypto.
It's finally happening. Logan's going to market the project. And they kept saying that. Logan's going to market the project and it's going to change everything.
So now imagine their surprise when another clip surfaces of Logan finally admitting this secret project isn't CryptoZoo at all. It's something else entirely.
I'll tell you about this project when we get closer to launch. This project of mine is going to be...
Is that the thing with the egg? Like the zoo?
No. Okay, that's
This
okay.
one.
This is gonna be yeah. This is crazy.
No, that shit sucks. That shit is garbage. I can't believe you guys bought that.
If you're one of
Holy
these
fuck, it was
investors,
awful.
and Logan
You
Paul's
brought up
the
the egg?
pitching
That
this
was a
new
joke.
secret project, and you're thinking it's CryptoZoo, and someone's like, "Oh, is it that thing with the eggs?" And he's like, "No, definitely not. That was the last project. This is the real project that I'm working on." Thankfully, people didn't just let this slide, because as he went around making the rounds on his new project called 99 Originals, people were like, "Hey, didn't you just abandon your last one?" And unsurprisingly, it's not his fault. It's the bad actors who ruined the project.
As I see people giving multiple explanations for why these haven't worked, and you know there's accusations out there. How does it make you feel when people are doing these takedown videos about your NFT projects previously?
It's sad because of what I just said. There's so much going on behind the scenes. Like, Doug, I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
There's some actual out there.
Yeah.
And it's not me. Like, I'm here to build.
Oh, okay.
This is a space
now
where
that's
a lot of people
okay. Well, now I
do
believe
see
you.
dollar signs. Like any burgeoning industry, if there's money to be made, there's going to be both good and bad people.
Okay, well, at least we set the record straight.
Space. I'm learning all of it. We had an issue with Coffeezilla, where our lead developer took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, and like held it hostage for $1 million. Like behind the scenes drama that took a stick and stuck it in the spokes of my wheels.
Oh, well, that wasn't expected. There's a shady developer who held up Logan's code hostage in Switzerland. That's why this hasn't worked the whole time. He held it hostage for $1 million. Well, let's add that to the board. I mean, isn't the mystery solved? Now, obviously, the first thing I wanted to do was hunt down this developer, who we'll be calling Z here, and find out the truth of what happened. Why did he steal Logan's code for $1 million? However,
that's what I really appreciate about Coffeezilla. He's such a stronger man than I. That is like the most egregiously bullshit story ever. Like, genuinely, I don't believe a single fucking phrase uttered in that same breath. I don't think there's any world where that's actually true, but Coffeezilla is still going to investigate it anyway. Whereas I would just say, no fucking shot, stop lying, and I just go to like the actual core stuff. I appreciate that he will investigate that outrageous claim.
I finally got a hold of him, and when I did, he
It's
admitted
true?
he took
No
the code
way.
hostage, but he says the reason for it was nothing like what Logan had
No.
said.
What?
Really never paid me anything at all, ever. I never paid. And, we got to a point when I was working on it where I just realized they were just going to try to steal all of my work and not pay me. So I took all the source code private. And
Holy shit.
Kind of, we spent like a month just trying to negotiate and get something figured out where I would finally get paid. Because I'm on my end, I have a team of 30 engineers. So I'm earning $50,000 a week on building this thing.
What? Building what? You take a picture and you have your stock photos that you mash together to make a new picture when it hatches. Where is $50,000 a week going? Where? How? Holy shit, this is outrageous. But I am beyond shocked that this is at least a half-truth. So the guy did flee to Switzerland after holding the code hostage, but it was because Logan didn't pay him or the team. So he was telling a half-truth on the situation. I can't believe any part of it was true. That is already quite the twist for me.
And the only thing they brought to the table were a bunch of Photoshop JPEGs.
So Z claims he wasn't blackmailing anyone. He had to hire a team to develop this whole thing, and he just wanted to be paid for the work they did. According to him, they negotiated a $1 million payday for this whole project. And from the second I heard that, I thought, oh, that's interesting, because Logan claims he spent $1 million on this whole thing. And this developer saying he's owed $1 million on this project. Now, I didn't want to just take one person's word for it, so I later confirmed with another developer who worked for something called the Blockchain Center that he also hadn't been paid.
We've been paid nothing. I would have loved to have Zoo, but I don't have any.
So that's multiple sources working on the CryptoZoo team project who were not paid. Now, obviously, these are big accusations, which is why I wanted to confront Logan Paul on them. But unfortunately, we're not exactly on speaking terms. So I wondered, how could I speak to Logan without speaking to Logan? And that's when I found out there was someone who might know just as much about this whole story.
And I will explain
He
everything
goes
one
to,
day with my manager, who's like
Mike.
in
Is that
charge
his name?
now.
Logan Paul's manager, a guy named Jeff Levin.
Oh, Jeff.
He might be
Fuck.
just what we need
Jeff,
to
not
settle this whole thing. So I gave him a call.
Hello?
Hey, Jeff. Hey, sorry to bother you. This is Steven with Coffeezilla. I'm calling because I've heard reports that CryptoZoo hasn't paid their development team, and I'm just reaching out for comment before I do this story. I got your number from one of the development team, and they just wanted to. I just want to follow up on that.
I have no comment for it.
Okay.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Are you guys
Okay.
denying it, or are you saying it's not true?
Just no comment. I don't think that the information is true.
Okay, because they're saying $1 million hasn't been paid in development for CryptoZoo, and Logan Paul said publicly that it has been paid. So, I mean, it's pretty serious accusation, and obviously, I don't want to just run a story. If you guys have a whole side to your story here,
Your job as someone that is reporting news is to actually verify correct news.
Well, that's
Right,
what
that's
he's
why
trying.
I'm calling you.
I know, and that's legal grounds for that stuff. So I'm just telling you, legally, you have to report correct news with verifiable information.
Right, that's why I'm calling you. They've given me a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
I'm-
things.
What? Where's? What the fuck is happening?
Okay, you can have the evidence you want, but I'm just letting you know, if you report anything on us, I appreciate your business, I appreciate you as a person, and I'm just telling you, from legal standpoint, as we've been advised always, is if anybody reports
What?
fake news, that's where we won't.
Then set the record
this
straight.
call was-
What? What? Is everyone around Logan just a fucking idiot? Like an actual bumbling buffoon? Huh? That is why he called you. You could have absolutely just, if it's not true, shut it down. Or tell him, yeah, it's not true. I wasn't aware of this. We can go ahead and get some material together to prove that it's all fake. Bang. Right then and there. You don't have to immediately tell Coffeezilla all the evidence or anything. Just say like, hey, it's not true. If you can give us some time, we can get together all the material and send it your way to prove that they're being dishonest about the information. Simple. Jesus Christ, Logan, hire me as your manager. Jesus. Could have saved you a massive fucking headache if this is all fake. How can you be so dumb? Thanks to the resub Linux. Ooh, hey Frederick, goddamn. Thank you for the 25 gift subs, Frederick. Well, I hope you're having a great holiday. Hey, happy holidays, Chase. Good to see you, man. Thanks to the resub Rick and Machine. And the bits, Shawnee.
A mess. Jeff, Logan's manager, seems to be implying that I'm not allowed to repeat allegations his own development team made, even though Logan can go on podcasts and publicly accuse those developers of stealing his code. Not only that, he's the one who refuses to provide any evidence, but seems to sort of be implying that maybe we'll sue you if you tell this to anyone, which he then denies doing when I ask him if that's what he's doing.
Told you I have no comment to it. Telling you once again, from a legal standpoint, you have to report truth. If you do not
Is this an
verify
NPC?
truth,
Why does he keep saying this?
Then you're just allegations, and those then will be handled the way that we want to handle it.
Okay. I understand you may have graduated Arizona State with the business degree, but holy shit, that is not being put to good use here, Jeff. You must have fallen ass backwards into this position. He is calling you so that way you can defend against the allegations. You don't have to do it right now on the phone call. Just say they're not true, and we will defend them. And here's our evidence. We can eventually get you our evidence. It is that simple. Like, it is that fucking simple. How dumb is this guy? Like, oh my god. He is calling you because he is trying to verify it as a trustworthy source. He wants the whole story. And how the fuck else is he supposed to verify it without talking to you? The team, the people behind it, the ones who now have the allegations. You are the only ones that can verify the authenticity of the claims. He can't go to the Better Business Bureau, who's somehow going to be having all the fucking answers to this. This guy is so dumb. He is so unbelievably dumb. And then making that like a sly little threat about it. He's Logan Paul's actual punching bag. He has to just keep Jeff around just to take all of the flack. That's got to be the only reason. He's like a little public spittoon for Logan Paul. Oh, what? No, I would have absolutely denied these things. Oh, that's just Jeff. Jeff, man, he's so fucking dumb. Yeah, no, oh my God, I can't believe Jeff. What a silly guy.
Wait, so you're saying you refuse
no
to give me
comment.
proof
I have
that the
no comment.
allegations aren't true,
Dorf,
but if I
Salazar,
report on the
I have no
allegations,
comment.
you guys might sue.
Thank you, man.
No, I did not say that. I did not say that.
All right,
Once again,
I'm trying to read between
no
the
comments.
lines.
Don't read between the lines.
Okay.
Listen to
okay.
the exact words that I'm saying.
Okay.
Listen to the exact words I'm saying.
I'm listening.
I have no comment on the situation.
Mm-hmm. Good defense.
Your job legally is to report facts. If you don't report facts on the information you're given, it is illegal.
It's not. You can report allegations. That's the whole fucking point of an allegation. He's not saying it's the truth. He is saying they're allegations, and he wants to verify, are these allegations accurate or are they inaccurate? You can absolutely talk about allegations.
Yes, that was a real conversation with a real person. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I don't think it's a crime to say that multiple developers say they haven't been paid, and Logan's team refuses to provide any evidence or like statements or wire transfers that they have. Which, by the way, seems incredibly ironic, given just how much Logan whines about not being paid by Floyd Mayweather.
Where's my money, bitch? Floyd never paid me for our fight. Who am I, the IRS?
Nope, but you might be the CryptoZoo dev team. Now, in all seriousness, I do want to acknowledge something which actually kind of looks bad a bit on the developers, because it turns out very few written contracts were actually done. So much of this were verbal deals like, oh, we'll take care of you. We'll give you
That sounds like
$50K,
crypto.
we'll give you $1 million, we'll give you whatever. But then when it was time to actually sign the deals, there's just always delays.
What kind of promises were made to you? Verbal promises, basically. So verbal promises, and then we follow up with like a physical paper agreement. But that's when communication broke down.
This is where I think the dev guys screwed up and led to this whole situation of like, okay, we're just going to take the code private until you pay us for our work. And to be clear, I'm not justifying not paying someone for what they did. I'm just playing devil's advocate and saying this could have all been avoided by just getting every detail in writing. And I think it's just a good
I still don't think it
lesson.
would have avoided
If you're
the problem,
thinking that
to be
that's the
fair,
$1
not in the
million
crypto
mystery
space.
solved, well,
But yeah.
no.
$1 million
It
on a
still
verbal
doesn't
promise?
make
Yikes.
sense. Why not just pay the dev team what you publicly said you kind of already paid them? Why not pay for a game that now isn't launched and now investors are so angry about? Why not pay when you already made millions from minting the eggs on this game? Well, this is where things get even stranger, because right when I was ready to pin everything on Logan, and believe me, he is at fault, I was speaking to the Z developer, and I heard a name that I hadn't heard before.
I basically,
Lana Rhodes.
Eddie promised
Oh.
me 5% of the tokens and $1 million. He literally never paid me.
Wait a second. Who's Eddie? I thought that all of this was Logan Paul. I only put it together when the Blockchain Center guys also said a similar thing about their deal. They said they were promised $350K and it was Ibanez. They say they had no communications with Logan. But we know they weren't talking about different people. They both dealt with the same guy. So the guy's name, I put it together, must be Eddie Ibanez. Turns out he was managing the developers. What's this random guy doing in Logan Paul's project? And who is he? Who is Eddie Ibanez?
It's a made-up name. That's a made-up
Yes,
name,
hi,
isn't
my
it?
name's Eddie Ibanez, lead developer here at CryptoZoo.
Oh,
This
never mind.
reporter said
Damn,
Eddie's
thought it was gonna be a
entire
crazy
story
plot twist.
is fake.
Wait, what? To continuously lie, lead people on, hype people up, to put more money in, all the while in the background, things are going down, things are hitting the fan, and you've left us holding the bag.
Logan, you stole 40 million in tokens from me. You are a scam artist. You are a liar, and you betrayed your own community. You aren't that guy. Logan replies, oh, trust me, bro. I am that guy.
What? This shit is actually playing out like a movie. God, this is good. All right, hold on. Let me take a tinkle real quick now. I'll be right back. Thanks to Resub Calamity and Saucy.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. Cryptozoo.co. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
I lost around $50,000 in cryptos.
I lost $40,000.
$500,000 Australian.
I'm telling you, just a picture. There's nothing I could do with it.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No.
We had a issue with Coffeezilla, where our lead developer took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, actually fled to Switzerland, and
It's
like held it
fucking chilly
hostage
in
for $1 million.
Tampa.
He literally never paid me
Things are prime
anything
bungus.
at all, ever. And he promised me, 5% of tokens and $1 million. He literally never paid me.
Wait a second. Who's Eddie? I thought that all of this was Logan Paul. What's this random guy doing in Logan Paul's project? And who is he? Who is Eddie Ibanez?
Thanks, Resub Crazy.
To begin answering the question of who Eddie is, I decided to take a deep dive.
I started by looking through all the news articles I could on Eddie, where I found out he graduated from MIT and from there became a data scientist and cybersecurity expert and used that technical background to win a Super Bowl for the Eagles. And there were videos on him too, which all painted him as brilliant and extremely accomplished.
What does that
Hi,
mean?
my name's Eddie Ibanez. I'm a father of 3, lead developer here at CryptoZoo.
As a teenager, he successfully hacked AOL
These are
from his
5 gift
bedroom.
subs, Lizard.
He
Hey,
continued
Lizard.
to pursue computer science until attending MIT. He was then recruited out to work for a government agency in cybersecurity, developing software that reverse
None of this
engineers
is true.
location of known government and terrorist threats.
You started with the federal government, and you started off
I don't
really
believe any of
tracking
this. He's a fucking
criminals
liar.
with burner phones and all.
Honestly, after this whole search, I felt more confused than ever. If Eddie's such an amazing guy, why didn't he pay developers? And is he really the puppet master behind CryptoZoo?
Thanks,
Or
Resub.
is it
Impact,
someone
Tai,
else?
the Prime
Honestly,
Monster, and the 5
I
gift
felt
subs
like
Senpai.
at this point I
Thank you,
needed a
Senpai.
drink and I needed to ask
Porter.
for help.
Coffee, how's it going?
Damn,
Not
look at the
good.
production value on this one.
I'm confused about this
Let's
Eddie
go.
Ibanez guy. He comes out of nowhere with this CryptoZoo story, and everything about him I find seems great.
So, what's the problem?
Well, everything's not great. Everything about this guy just seems too perfect. He's an MIT grad, he worked for the military. He even claims he won a Super Bowl. Why would that guy work for Logan Paul?
I don't know, but I can find out. You said his name is Eddie Ibanez?
I think he goes by Eduardo technically, but wait, what are you doing?
I'm just
This is
looking
fucking
around.
great.
And done.
Well, what'd you find?
Few red flags, couple of misdemeanors. Ooh, a few court cases. I'll send him over. He got sued by his landlord for not paying rent, sued by his credit card company for not paying his bill.
You can skip that stuff. I just need whatever's relevant to CryptoZoo.
Well, that's basically it. Other than... hold on. No, wait, I did find something. Look at this.
What's this?
It's from a paper in Philly. I barely picked it up. This reporter says Eddie's entire story is fake.
Wait, what?
I can't believe it.
Whole Eddie
He didn't win a
Ibanez
Super Bowl?
character, this guy Adam Robb investigated.
He didn't hack AOL?
He says it's a lie.
I gotta find this guy. Here, send me his info. I got some calls to make.
Coffee!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We met up with Adam Robb, the reporter who's been investigating Eddie Ibanez for a while now. And I wanted to know, what did Adam think of him when they first met?
I wasn't quite sure what to make of him. Based on what I knew about him, he was a MIT grad who went on to work for the CIA and Defense Department, and I didn't want to waste his time. And it wasn't long after I sat down that I realized he was wasting my time.
Can you tell me about some of the lies Eddie told you?
Eddie has told me so many lies over the course of my 2 interviews with him, and the first lie he told me is probably the oldest lie that he's told so many people, which is that he's an orphan. I first realized Eddie might be lying to me when I went home the next day and Googled Eddie Ibanez's family. I found a video of Eddie and his wife making rice pudding on a Fox and Friends segment on Fox News.
Why is he there?
And Eddie's wife, Jackie, explained that she learned the recipe from Eddie's mother.
So in that picture, you've got Jackie Ibanez. You know her along with her husband Eddie and her 2 little girls. You love rice pudding. Why is this a family recipe?
Okay, so Eddie's mom made this rice pudding once.
Wait, Eddie's mom? I thought Eddie was an orphan. Well, it turns out The only problem with that is that not only does his mom exist, she's alive and in his life. And it turns out it wasn't just Adam that heard this story either.
Was he
told it a
like
lot.
adopted maybe?
Did you ever meet his mother? Or his
Obviously
parents?
not.
I did meet his mother.
Did he ever tell you he was an orphan?
Yes.
How did he square that with you?
So that's why I'm so confused. He told me he was an orphan and all this stuff, but then I meet his mom.
He told me he was an orphan and then I met his mother is quite the string of words. But as insane as these lies are, let's be real, it doesn't explain why CryptoZoo failed. But the next lies kind of do, because part of Eddie's story is also that he went to MIT where he was recruited to the CIA. And it's part of why he was so attractive as a lead developer. All
Orphan
the
being
wild
lost both
experiences that he had
parents.
had.
But
it's just
I was
not
thinking
true.
maybe he's using it as like
the MIT registrar's
at
office
an orphanage,
and I asked if
not necessarily
Eddie Ibanez
orphaned
attended the
with the
school,
loss of the
and
parents. But
they confirmed
I'm giving
in
so
absolute terms
much
that he never
benefit of
attended
the doubt to a
That's
fucking
right.
loser
The whole
for
orphan
no
to
reason.
MIT origin story, it wasn't true. And Eddie's whole backstory from here kind of falls apart as well. How could he have been recruited to a government agency out of MIT if he never went to MIT? If this is all seeming crazy to you, you might ask yourself, who would believe all this? And this is where Eddie shines. He kind of had a gift for getting people to believe in the lies he told, especially super rich and powerful people for some reason. Like take for instance, this story, him winning the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. He managed to convince the owner of the New York Yankees that it was true, Barry Klarberg, who completely bought into it without question and told the same story later in a college seminar.
Let's jump right into the work that you did for the Philadelphia Eagles, which led to a Super Bowl championship, led to you getting
What
a
work
Super
did he
Bowl
claim
ring.
to do for the
Tell us
Eagles?
exactly what your job was to do for them and how it would work then.
No, sure thing. So first off, they said like, we don't know where to put you, but and then the sports science guy was the one guy. He's like, hey, I got some data. I'm interested. So we took in his data, and then we found out that these players, what happens is it's like a player as they run around, they get at certain fatigue levels. So if you ever played Street Fighter, the video game, there's like a red bar at the top, and every time you hit, that red bar goes down until you die, KO, right? So then we're trying to figure out kind of what that is for a player, and on an injury level, right? There's an injury bar that gets knocked down and that gets KO'd.
This is insane. He convinced an owner of the
I
Yankees
thought
that he won a Super Bowl.
So I initially, and this was foolish, I initially thought his claim was he personally led them to the Super Bowl win. Like, he was on the field, and I thought that was such an incredible attempt at lying, because that would be very easily disprovable, but I would have so much respect for the cojones to try and tell that. Oh yeah, I was actually the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2018 when we won the Super Bowl. This is a little less cool. He's just like, yeah, I was actually the guy behind the scenes. That's not as exciting of a lie. I could see why people would believe that, kind of. Yeah, I thought it was going to be like, yeah, I scored the game winner. I was the one that dove into the end zone. So that's a little sad. I think he should have gone harder. Make it sound like he was on the field. Thanks to the resub. Wolf, Court, Butters, Rock, and the Prime Reverend.
By turning sports athletes into Street Fighter characters. And of course, none of it's true. The Philadelphia Eagles responded to a fact check saying he never worked for their player analysis team. Not
What?
only that, the Eagles
No,
also
impossible.
said that Eddie did try to do an in-person presentation in March of 2018, but that was already a month after the Eagles had already won the Super Bowl. And also, they didn't hire him because of course not. Meaning, there's no way this story is true. And yet, he's convinced people at the highest levels of sports that it is. And this is where we get back to CryptoZoo, of course, because it's how he got involved with that project. Remember Jeff Levin, Logan's manager,
Oh
who
my
spoke
God.
to last time? Well,
Jeez.
he also spoke to
Jeepers.
Adam Robb. And when he told him the reasons he liked Eddie, they sounded very familiar.
And did he tell you, I guess, kind of like about like working with the NFL and that kind of stuff and the whole, like his time in the CIA and all that?
He did. And it was interesting. It was like, this is wild, like, that's pretty cool. But he's humble and he's not like ever bragging or anything like that.
Wait, but he is bragging. He literally made it all up. The CIA, NFL stories aren't true. How could that not be bragging? But that's the impression Eddie gave off. But that's not all. Because Eddie didn't just use made-up stories to get in with the CryptoZoo team, he also used his other connections, his real millionaire and billionaire friends that he's managed to gain with all these fake stories. And
I thought for some reason Jeff and Logan were so dumb that they were just believing every word this guy said without doing any level of investigation to confirm whether or not they had a CIA Super Bowl winning fucking deep operative that wanted to work for CryptoZoo. Okay, so he leveraged real connections to try and convince them, and it clearly worked. Got it.
And some of them vouched for him. People like Chris Birch and Todd Morley.
And what was the thing that kind of like sold you on Eddie? Was it the fact that like Chris and Todd and people like that kind of like have backed him in the past and like?
I just think he's a down-to-earth, cool, humble guy.
Okay.
Who's been super successful. They're trying to do an agenda, and he's just kind of like, hey, look, I'm super smart in what I know, and I have amazing relationships through business that I've done.
It's incredible. I mean, how does this guy keep getting away with it?
Because he's talking to stupid people. Like, listen to Jeff. He is observably dumb. That's how he keeps getting away with it. He's smart at targeting dumb people with ridiculous lies.
But I've got to say, up till now, everyone's been fooled sort of fair and square on the same grounds. But I found out CryptoZoo did have an advantage that could have saved them all this trouble the whole time.
So a month before the launch of CryptoZoo, I got on the phone with Jeff Levin, Logan Paul's manager. And after he spoke fondly of Eddie and his work, I confronted him about some of Eddie's lies, including how he didn't work for the NFL. Jeff told me he doesn't know much about the NFL, but he knows about the business world. And Chris Birch and Todd Morley vouched for Eddie. And so Jeff and Logan were going to continue working with him. Have you ever verified that anything Eddie said about himself is true?
We verified that it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely talked to people.
Okay.
And his friends and and people that he said he has relationships with, which we've confirmed them for sure.
Okay, because I had trouble with some of that, like with the NFL.
Yeah, all of these things he told us, we checked with his friends to make sure they were true, because that's where we're gonna get the real information from his friends. No, we didn't do any like actual research like online. Like that makes no sense. We talked to people that like him. Like we talked to his friends. What seems to be the problem?
NFL like saying that like no, we've never worked with him, and that kind of thing. But you've had
the NFL saying that?
Yeah.
Like who at the NFL?
The comms teams for the Eagles and the Dolphins, and then the people specifically that he named that he said he worked with.
Got it. I don't know necessarily the football stuff.
Okay.
I don't have relationships in the football world.
Sure.
But in the business world, we've definitely, talked to multiple people.
Like Todd and Chris, and they backed him.
Correct.
Wait a second. This means at minimum, Jeff knew about Eddie's background beforehand, or part of it, and still decided to go with it. This is just unbelievable, willful stupidity. And since Jeff is Logan's manager, I assume him and the team should have known about this as well. But still, they went forward with it even though they knew this stuff before launch. Now, I started to reach out.
He was just a very cool, humble guy, though, Coffee. You don't
Huge
get
deal. But when I did, I got a call from somebody new. Someone with a different perspective that I hadn't heard from before. Jake, the Crypto King. He's been involved with...
Oh my god, it's the fucking bald Pokemon guy. Oh, what an interesting source. I am very curious to hear from him on his perspective of these things. Thanks for you said Bean Lurch and the Prime Grek. This honestly feels like the Logan Paul sitcom finale where they're bringing in all of the side characters from previous seasons. This is actually wild how everything is meshing together into this repulsive, toxic stew. Actually incredible.
Some of Logan's projects in the past, like Pokemon, for example. He was called the Collectibles Guru a few years ago. Nowadays, he goes by Crypto King, and he's an advisor for the CryptoZoo project. So let's add him to the conspiracy board. But the question is, what did he have to say? I took a call with him.
I'm sure it was
he
intelligent.
He mostly wanted to talk off the record, but when I pressed him, he was willing to at least put one thing on the record for me.
Right. One more thing about Eddie before we get off of him. We actually...
The biggest reason it failed, in my opinion.
Oh,
Okay.
wait, a little
Because
honesty.
I don't want it to ever be thought that Logan's the reason it failed. He's not. Logan wasn't smart enough for what he tried to build, and then when it was built and was failing, didn't have the ability to correct it and to save face and reputation. It was more convenient to pull out than to be associated with a failing project that the dev rocked. So I could put that one sentence on the record.
Well, that is certainly emphatic. Crypto King says it's all Eddie's fault. And this is a nice, neat theory for us. You know, Eddie ruined everything because, yeah, Eddie is a liar. So
it does have a lot of merit to it. I think that is very plausible. I don't trust the source overly well to tell the truth about things, but it does make sense. But I also love the way he phrases it, that Logan wasn't smart enough for what he was trying to build. My guy, he was building a picture book. His whole project was, here's an egg, which hatches a picture of an animal. And then it hatches another picture of an animal combined with another animal, all stock photos. You don't have to be that smart to just take fucking PNGs and dump them onto a service. And yet he's still saying he was too fucking dumb to crack that code.
So it does seem to explain how these developers got screwed. But this theory doesn't fit all the facts, because Eddie was kicked off the team months ago. And still, the game is not working, despite Logan claiming they were going to go back and fix all the problems.
Again, retroactively working to make these projects right, and this takes time, bro. It just takes time. Development takes time.
Working backwards to fix things, which isn't ideal, but also this project will speak for itself.
And now, you know, we're working
the chess will speak for itself.
To try to fix it.
This just
it has
hasn't
spoken
happened.
for itself, and
Even
it's squealing
a year
in pain.
from launch, the game just doesn't exist. What's worse is the newest dev team, who came on after Eddie, just quit. And one of the reasons was they hadn't been paid for over a month. I know this because Logan's team is leakier than the Titanic, and someone told me that, but we also have blockchain evidence. This is Jeff paying BlockOps, the company
Good
they
man.
hired out on July 19th. They were supposed to redo all this work. It's confirmed by their leader, Skip, talking about a first monthly payment on that day. But after that, there's nothing until they quit on September 26th in a post called Our Departure from CryptoZoo. Now, I do have to say, it does look like they were eventually paid, but only a day after they quit. And this is just the same problem as before, slightly different. Nobody can pay these devs on time, and investors end up getting nothing. And so I can't buy into the idea that Eddie's at fault for everything, because when Eddie was gone, they had a lot of the same problems. Now, it was only at the point that this dev team quit, BlockOps, that things really took a turn. Because if the Titanic was leaking before, now it was sinking, and everyone basically gave up hope. You know, from every direction, I started getting messages from all the investors who felt betrayed, who up to this point were
they
holding
gave up on the
hope.
project?
Now they felt
They were just about to make money on it,
tricked
though.
by the CryptoZoo team who had fed them promise after promise, and they were sick of it.
He was never in the chat or anything, never apologized or told us anything.
Things didn't work out.
Forsaken,
Things
Alex,
didn't work
and
out.
5 gives subs again,
We'll
Senpai.
get that. But to continuously lie, lead people on, hype people up, to put more money in, all the while in the background, things are going down, things are hitting the fan, and you've left us holding the bag.
I know it was my decision, and I did my research, but I believe nobody has to lose money in this way.
And that's when a whistleblower stepped forward and decided enough was enough. They decided to leak me messages, team messages, from the CryptoZoo team from all the way back in the beginning when they thought of this idea, all the way up to launch.
That's juicy.
And seeing that, it changed everything. Because all of a sudden, I got a lot of new information. Remember how Jake, the Crypto King, said Eddie was the only problem? Well, a year ago, he was saying something very different. On the day of launch, he said this to the group: Logan, you stole 40 million in tokens from me. You are a scam artist. You are a liar, and you betrayed your own
Logan wouldn't
community.
do that. He wouldn't
You
do
aren't
that.
that guy. Logan replies, oh, Jake, trust me, bro. I am that guy.
You're gonna take the story. Yeah, I'll go on the record for you, and yes, I'm gonna show you the text message that say we can sell at these ascending market caps, and that it's not like I was trying to rug a project. It's like I put $250,000 into a project plus 6 months of time, and the founder never did anything he said he was going to do, and then hired a bunch of devs that didn't do what they were going to do.
Oh God, I really don't like that guy. Jesus, this is the Pokemon guy. This is like the slimiest fucking guy. I swear to God. What do you mean you put 6 months of time into this project? You weren't coding, you weren't doing anything, you were just looking for the payday. What do you mean? Not that there's even like a lot of coding to be done with a project like this, considering they just took a fork, right? Like I'm getting heated. I'm getting heated. And I haven't even reached the conclusion yet. I just really don't like that guy.
And every time I gave advice, the advice was I was told. So there was nothing illegal about that. Ethically, arguable. The rest that Logan did to me was ethically wrong and illegal.
Fucking huge. Now the conclusion. God, I'm so glad I waited for all 3 parts. I would be so on edge waiting for these day by day. God, Coffeezilla fucking crushed it with this. This is a much more interesting and deep scam than I ever expected it to be. The exclusive Patreon interview with the single mother will make you very, very angry. Chat told me about that a little earlier. I heard. I'll say it again. I always hate that real people that aren't wealthy crypto bros lose money on shit like this. I really do. But like, god damn. When they say things like, I did research on it and I wanted to play the game, I believed in it because Logan Paul's already wealthy, it's like, you were literally asking for it. All of the writing was on the walls. At no point during any of the pitch of this game did it ever seem like a real project. Oh, it's a play-to-earn model where you hatch an egg through our crypto token, that egg gives you a picture, and then you can breed that picture into another picture, which you can eventually sell for money, maybe. Like, what about that draws people to it? I don't understand. I actually don't get it. I do feel very bad for the single mother. I'm assuming she had no fucking clue at all who Logan Paul was or anything about this. I think chat said she heard about it from like a financial investment guide or something like that. So I'm assuming it was just one of those things where it's like, damn, I really need money and I'm just going to trust this guide or this resource, and ending up losing a ton of money would be my guess. It's very, like, it sucks. It is tragic, but goddamn, come on. Like, it's just right under your nose. Ugh. I don't ever think it's people thinking they're in on the scam or early to the scam and profiting. I really do think it's people blindly just believing, praying. They don't want to be the person that misses out on the next big thing. The fear of missing out compels them to put it in regardless. Money they don't have to lose, in the hopes that somehow they're there early enough that it turns a profit no matter what. And that is just never the case. You are never going to outlast or outscam the scammer. Like, just play RuneScape for a month and you'll learn that hard truth. Thanks to the resub, Gruyan. Some of the dudes in the video really wanted it to be marketed. Well, yeah, because if it's marketed, they can make money off it. Like, then the project has life. Then they can believe in the team. Of course they want it marketed. That's the whole point. NFTs, crypto, it's all speculative hype. That's why it was such a big thing with crypto bros on Twitter, because it's just all artificially inflated through the perception of hype. And nothing else. There's never anything else. Damn. Fucking wild. Hold on, I need to fill up my water real quick before this big one. Give me 2 seconds, I'll be right back. Alright, the finale.
Last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project.
We've put hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You said no list, chance, and cosmic.
Personally, the whole team, $1 million plus.
We had an issue with Coffeezilla, where our lead developer took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, actually fled to Switzerland.
That would be wild.
And like held it hostage for $1 million.
He literally never paid me anything at all, ever. Eddie promised me, 5% of the tokens and $1 million. He literally never paid me.
This reporter says Eddie's entire story is fake.
The biggest reason it failed, in my opinion.
Doug, I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
There's some actual out there.
Yeah.
And it's not me. Like, I'm here to build.
Is it tier 1 sugar?
Welcome to part
Give
3.
some
So
rosier.
far, we've discovered fake orphans, millions of dollars stolen, and a cast of sleazy characters. But now, it's time to put it all together. What is the truth? And who's to blame? We're going to start by going through leaked text messages of the CryptoZoo team to understand all of their motivation. Then we'll go to blockchain evidence and show who sold what. And finally, we'll confront some of the people responsible. But before we can
God,
do
the production
any
on
of
this is so
we have
good.
to start in March of 2021, 6 months before the token even launched. Our 4 suspects, Logan, Crypto King, Eddie, and Jeff, are in a group chat discussing CryptoZoo, which starts as a copy of something else. Quote, "I like imitating crypto kitties," Jake the Crypto King says. Logan replies, "I agree." And initially, it wasn't called CryptoZoo at all. It was called Crypto Pets, and they were going to sell a Pets token. And pretty early on, it became clear this was all about money, how they were going to sell this thing to investors.
No!
In fact, Crypto Kings
In the crypto space? It wasn't about making a good game? Oh. Well, I never. Why, I oughta. What the devil?
said he thought it was worth at least $20 million in only 6 months, saying the range is insane. $20 to $210 million. It's beautiful wherever we land. Eddie jumped in at this point and talked about how he could sell the project as an investment to a friend, Matt Higgins, saying, quote, "He has to spend that $350 million somewhere. Why not us?" And Logan says, "I love that idea. Crypto King, I'm in."
Oh, and thank you
of
for the
course,
raid
you have
pack. I'm sorry I
Jeff
didn't see that. I
saying,
didn't hear it
"Let's
go
go."
off.
So you can see right there,
Thank you,
they
Pac.
wanted
Hope you had
to
a
sell
great
this
stream.
game before it had even launched. Now later, Eddie amends the list of investors and says, quote, "Investors will be Gary Vee, Todd Morley, James Altucher, Ryan Kavanaugh, and others confirmed on my end." Supposedly, they had $100 million of investment interest. Now, I actually went to some of these investors and asked if this was true, and the one person who responded denied it, Ryan Kavanaugh. Quote, "Nope, not even a little." So this looks like it could be yet another
Wait, what
lie
was the
from Eddie
second
Ibanez.
message? Wait, hold on, let me take a peek. I haven't even heard of it until recently. Huge. Hey, hats off to Ryan Kavanaugh for responding here. Of course, he could also be lying too, I suppose, since he obviously did hear about it and the negative connotation around it. He could be just trying to save face. It's possible. Doesn't really matter anyway at this point, but it's just nice to know that, once again, this is most likely just a lie from Eddie.
So this looks like it could be yet another lie from Eddie Ibanez, but either way, it looks like there was more issues than just finding investors because...
Oh, wait. That's the same Ryan Kavanaugh that owns Triller? Oh, interesting. Very interesting. That doesn't matter at all here, but that is very interesting. That guy's a real goofball. Thank you for the 2 gift subs, white t-shirt. The resub, King Killer, Cossin, Braden, C. Dot, and the Bits Adonis. Logan Paul joined Coffeezilla's Patreon. I saw the tweet, but it's not confirmed Logan Paul, though it does seem like it likely is. Thanks for your sub, Rosier Spud, and the gift sub, Reejmar.
The team wanted to pre-sell tokens, and not everyone was sure it would be legal. Jake the Crypto King mentions that, quote, "If we have a pre-sale, it opens us up to SEC issues." And Jeff agrees and
don't
says,
want that.
"Don't want to do anything that brings the SEC eyeballs." Now, not everyone wanted to be so cautious, though. Logan argues everyone does pre-sale with coins. Eddie agrees. He says, "You absolutely can do it. I have the SEC down, private and pre-sale." And honestly, it was quite the
Classic
dilemma
Eddie.
for this team who
Eddie
wanted,
W again,
do a
baby.
pre-sale,
He's done
make
it all.
millions, but you have these potential legal issues. Don't do it, you make less money. So Crypto King comes up with a middle solution. He says, if we can't sell, no pre-sale. We can still trade them in the liquidity pool. And this is the start of a new disaster, which takes a bit of explaining. Now, just so we're clear, a pre-sale is where you sell investors coins, usually at a discount, before you've launched. And then when you launch, you give them those coins. Now, like I said, the team didn't want to do that. So what they did instead was they bought the tokens on the open market right after launch. But they tried to get clever with it because they didn't actually announce that they were launching this coin at all. They stealth launched it on June 11th and didn't announce this token through Logan until August 18th, meaning they had all that time to silently buy up as much of the supply at a steep discount as they wanted. And the idea here was that doing this, the team could get these tokens extremely cheaply, which is kind of like a pre-sale, but without all the SEC troubles. And Crypto King makes this clear on June 7th when he says, quote, launch of the liquidity pool is where huge money will be made because you get in cheaper. And then says, we, the team, begin buying out the liquidity pool. Once the team has exhausted funds for the liquidity pool buying, we send the contract address to friends, family, investors who want to be able to get in. So
Huge.
Obviously the plan is we buy first, then we give it to our close friends and family, and then maybe the public eventually, right? And even the day before, Crypto King reminds everyone, quote, Zoo Day is tomorrow. I highly recommend everyone get a few $100 to a few $1,000s in Zoo when it goes live. It will likely tend to.
It really seems like
1,000x.
Jake is the actual leader of the project. So what the fuck role did Eddie play? He seems very redundant here. He didn't get any investors because he's just a pathological liar. But it seems like Jake ran everything. Is that going to be the conclusion here? Because that's the impression I'm getting from these messages. He's the one keeping everyone updated on launch day. I imagine he was also the one probably relaying the information to the teams, would be my guess. But maybe he's just really enthusiastic about the project. I guess we'll see.
That was their plan. Rather than doing a pre-sale, they were going to do this stealth launch and hopefully get tokens cheaply the same way, but without all the legal troubles. Or at least that was the plan. Because on stealth launch day, this is where things first started to go wrong for the team. At first, everything seemed to go normal. The team sat in a circle and literally bought it out as planned. But the next day, Crypto King says something odd. Quote, a bot is playing with our token. Kind of cool to watch them work. But he doesn't mention who this bot is. And he also says the asshole finished selling, but doesn't mention who that is. Now, Jeff, Logan's manager, replies upset. He says, how do we prevent someone doing what they just did again? We went from a $130 million to $26 million market cap in 2 hours. It's not cool to watch. Logan jumps in. Yeah, wait, how did that happen? And he also says, what asshole? How did anyone get this token except for us and none of us sold? And I think, actually, this is incredibly suspicious.
Oh, imagine it's Eddie.
The implication of what Logan's saying is, hey, we tried to scheme this really well. We tried to all buy this without letting anyone know. How did anyone else figure out we were buying it, right? And this is where a fight ensues that's going to become really interesting. Crypto King deflects the question by saying, my buyer pushed it back up to $40 million. And Logan says, no, bro, F your buyer. Explain to me what just happened and how there were 30 token holders. And Jake tries to explain that this was just traders and bots happening to find the token. But Logan says only 5 of us knew about it. Jake says, well, many people chase volume and new tokens. And to some extent, he's kind of right. But Logan replies, cap.
Uh-oh.
He doesn't believe it.
Uh-oh.
Well, I can't be
He
the
dropped
only
the
one who
emoji.
thinks that's too incredibly convenient. Like someone was tipped off. And look, no one's more critical of Logan than me. But as I'm reading these texts, I was kind of agreeing. Yeah, it does seem too nonchalant when somebody's ruining your secret plot. You know what I mean? Because Crypto King was acting very strange. He says, we created $40 million out of thin air. This is a success. Logan replies, this nonchalance worries me. F 40 million. It was at 120 million, which again, it's all about the money with these guys. But truth be told, I did agree that Crypto King's attitude seemed strange in these texts. I mean, he's not wrong that bots are a thing. Traders.
He's just a weird guy. I think he's a greasy slime ball. I've already said that. But I also don't think he'd be the one sabotaging internally either. He doesn't strike me as smart enough to even think of that. But maybe he just plays a fucking dumb idiot. So maybe he's more cunning than I give him credit for. To me, the impression I get reading his messages is a guy that's trying to calm down an angry dog. He's like, no, but 40 million's great, Logan. No, it's wonderful, actually. These things, it'll be water under the bridge once we're back to scamming. Yeah, just let it go. Thanks to the tier 1 Mike and the resub gamer and the 5 gift subs Barry. Thank you, Barry.
Are a thing. But it sounded like he didn't want anyone to look into it. So, naturally, I looked into it. And what I found surprised me, because there were bots, but there's also unusual human activity during this time. So I tracked the 5 biggest buyers of this zoo coin. And lo and behold, this is what I found. Logan was one of the biggest buyers, which is what you'd expect, but he wasn't the biggest. In fact, 2 of the biggest wallets seem to be associated with Crypto King himself.
Oh, okay.
And here's where I pause. I said,
Interesting.
wait a second, why did this guy buy more zoo tokens than Logan when this is mostly Logan's project? I thought Crypto King was a small part of this team. And so, to get more info on this, I actually got access to an internal meeting note from the day of June 11th, which they called Zoo Day. And in it, we find actually some interesting information. We see that 5 founders bought in. They apparently were, quote, trading in circles until each person maxed out. But on the list of buyers and how much they spent are only 4 people, when we know 5 people bought. We have Danny, Logan's assistant, for 20K, Logan Paul for 100K, Jeff at 100K, and Eddie at 100K, but Crypto King is nowhere to be found. And yet, on the blockchain, I have him putting in $200,000 worth. And this number, by the way, seemingly is confirmed in a conversation I had with Crypto King, where he said, my 200K investment. And the reason this is important is because it does imply that something shady was going on the day of the stealth launch. Because Crypto King had a relatively small role in this whole project. He was the advisor, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Like you can see from the internal meeting notes, they have a breakdown of who's getting what in terms of founder tokens. And like Logan Paul's getting 51%, Eddie's getting 30%, Jeff's getting 10%. Jake's only getting 5% of tokens, but he has the most of these like stealth launch tokens, which makes no sense. And it got me thinking that maybe what explains this suspicious behavior around like, oh, don't worry about who was buying at the time of the launch. Maybe that's explained because perhaps no one knew that he was buying up large parts of the token supply. Maybe he was buying it to sell later. Now, of course, that's speculation. So that's why I confronted Crypto King on all of this.
God, that's so beautiful. Let's assume that's all true. And to me, that sounds very reasonable. Let's assume it is Jeff. He's gone on there like the Crypto0 boogeyman. He's now buying up all that shit, hoping to hold it for later, sell it for much higher, without anyone knowing it, and then still playing like the goofball in the chat, like, oh, these weird bots. This is odd activity, but it's nothing to be concerned about. No reason to dig any deeper. Let's just be satisfied with what we've got here, you know. And then behind the scenes, he's the one pulling the strings here. What I love is that this went belly up, and I don't think he made any money. He just lost all of the money he invested to try and fuck him. So that's beautiful. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe at some point there was money to be earned from having those tokens that he stealth purchased, but I don't think there was, at least not based on my understanding of this whole project and its failure. So he ended up just getting scammed by himself. That's what that's my speculation. I don't want any spoilers in the chat. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I do suppose he could have been he could have been able to make out very well. I don't want any spoilers, damn it.
Get to that call. Let's address the elephant in the room. Logan didn't accuse Crypto King of being a scam. It was the other way around. Crypto King told Logan Paul he was a scammer. And the question is, why? Well, to answer that, we have to go from June, the stealth launch date, to September 1st,
Royal,
the official launch date of
Rocco,
Crypto0.
Been Raged,
September
Aaron,
1st,
Ronald, Knight,
Crypto0.co.
Now, the day of the launch
Noble,
was a bit
Mike,
strange because you might think, well, they already have a token, right? But the first thing they did was actually create a new zoo token with a different code, but the same name. And they actually airdropped all the holders of the first zoo token with an identical amount of those coins on the second zoo token. So you might be wondering, why did they do that? Well, maybe it's to change the smart contract, but maybe it's because of what they did do. They blacklisted some of the holders. In other words, they didn't airdrop to everyone, including Jake the Crypto King. They excluded his wallets so it couldn't get these zoo coins. Jake texts the group about this the next day, saying, quote, "The zoo team made a major error this weekend. They chose not to communicate, mint a new token, and airdrop it to whatever wallets they determined fit. This decision came from Eddie and Logan, and I had no part in it. 11,250 wallets before the airdrop, under 11,000 after. They chose to blacklist and ban over 200 wallets. Now, who those wallets are, I have no idea. But he continues, quote, as a founder like Logan, Jeff, Eddie, and Danny, I had purchased a large quantity of tokens. 5+ of my wallets had been blacklisted from the original team's buys. Now, I don't know why he had 5+ wallets there, but okay. He says 80
because he
plus
made the
billion
bots.
Zoo tokens were confiscated from me today without any communication. So, wow. That's why Crypto King accused Logan of stealing from him or scamming. It's because he was frozen out of a lot of his wallets. And then we get to the text you guys all know. He says, Logan, you stole $40 million. You're a scammer. You're a con artist, all that stuff. You betrayed your community. The reality is you aren't that guy. And Logan responds, oh, Jake, trust me, bro. I am that guy.
I still love
Cute
that line.
In the arms of an angel. And look, I mean, what do we make of this? Well, I don't know. I can't root for either of these guys because it sounds like Logan stabbed him in the back, but it sounds like Crypto King may have stabbed him in the back in the first place, right? Because it does appear like he bought tokens that maybe everyone didn't know about. So I'm really not a fan of anyone in this situation. And by the way, this whole thing was structured so misleadingly from the beginning. I have to talk to you a bit about it because you might think that these tokens were the only tokens they had, but it's not even true. In the distribution section of Zoo's white paper, they say there's 2 trillion tokens, and a quarter of that are allocated to development, marketing, and founders. Those aren't even the tokens we're talking about right now, because they claim that those tokens were locked up for 6 months, and then afterwards, 10% was unlocked every month. And if that's true, there would be no reason for these funds to be blacklisted, right? Why would you blacklist something that would be locked up? And the answer is because, well, the founders had more than one set of tokens. Not only did they supposedly have these founder tokens that were locked up and couldn't be sold, these stealth launch tokens were different from that. It's like a whole different thing. And the tokens that they bought, that all of these guys bought, they could sell at basically any time because they weren't locked up, which is a massive problem. And this fact was explicitly
were the other ones
laid out
even
in
ever
their meeting
actually
notes,
locked up?
with only one rule. They say, quote, no selling until $200 million market cap, and don't impact the market more than 3%, and not impact the market more than 10% in a day. And by the way, this is basically conspiracy to manipulate a market. You know, they're literally having insider rules for how to sell. But we're gonna look past that. Right?
Not even important.
Because these rules eventually kind of changed. A text from Logan's manager, Jeff Levin, came to the group chat, Zoo founders,
Jake's got other
saying,
plans.
guys, new and absolute rules. No one is to sell or transfer any Zoo. Logan's gonna make the call when we can make moves. And Logan replies, your tokens do not leave your wallet. This is a game. Now, that all sounds well and good. Don't sell your tokens, but the reality was, I mean, they're just kind of trusting each other because these tokens that they're talking about, they're unlocked. They're not locked up, and they could sell it at any time. And I guess the question on my mind
is a loaded gun in the dark.
Crypto King's tokens were blacklisted because they thought he would sell, or maybe it's just the fact they found out he bought and they didn't know about all those tokens. It's honestly hard to say without knowing more evidence. And this is where we're going to jump into the blockchain. Now, I've tracked the wallets of the entire team and identified the largest seller of Zoo in the team. And it wasn't
give some sugar.
Jeff.
Resub Gato,
It wasn't
tier 1
Danny.
duck, sugar,
It
and the
wasn't
Prime Labs.
even Logan. It was Crypto King. Crypto King sold, by my calculations, millions of dollars. And I know what you're thinking. How's that possible, right? I thought his tokens were blacklisted the day of the official launch. How could he sell that much? Well, the answer is that not all of his tokens were blacklisted. He had even more tokens behind the scenes.
The bots.
And what's worse,
okay.
the CryptoZoo team actually gave him back a lot of his blacklisted tokens, which I guess you can see as a good thing or a bad thing because he then turned around and sold those tokens, right? And from my blockchain analysis across his blacklisted tokens he got back and the tokens that he had squirreled away the whole time, he ended up making $6 million.
Oh, that's sickening.
By sending out tokens from these larger wallets to dozens of smaller wallets, selling it, and then sending the money to final cash out wallets.
Rough.
So he used those final wallets to calculate the amount he made. Now,
it still just blows my fucking mind that even after all of the Pokemon shit, Logan still brings that guy around and gets fucked by him again. What a cuck. Unreal. I thought there was a chance. It seemed pretty clear Jake was absolutely the shadiest one so far. I just thought there was a chance he didn't make any money off of it because it was such a colossal failure of a project. But I guess he must have just been able to strike it at the right time and make that money. Damn, Jake got him again. That is a fool me twice situation right there. He got Logan again. Thanks for the resub, Colin. Jake just fucking farms Logan, man. And then Logan farms his audience with the scams. What a really beneficial relationship for Jake.
I know. Look, it's a lot to accuse someone of selling $6 million in a project that doesn't even work. It's a giant scam. So I wanted to give him a chance to defend himself. So I got on a call with Crypto King. And here's what he said when I finally revealed that I knew he had sold.
I'm gonna change this whole fucking story. Yeah, I'll go on the record for you, and yes, I'm gonna show you the text message that say we can sell at these ascending market caps, and literally, I'm gonna 100%. It sounds like your biggest issue with me is that I sold, and if that's your biggest issue with me, that's the truth.
Wow, that is a big admission. Selling tokens for a project that you're an advisor on when the project has never been delivered.
Well, not only that, he's also admitting to the insider trading rules, which is not, strictly speaking, a legal thing to do, though it is the crypto space and nothing makes sense and nothing's enforced. But he's admitting to a lot of bad things right there, actually.
Although Crypto King insists that it wasn't $6 million and he wasn't trying to rug a project. In fact, really, he might be the one who got screwed over in all of this.
Like, I didn't sell $6 million worth. That's going to be other wallets, but that's probably not going to be able to be me being able to be proven, except for them saying, can you send BNB to all these different wallets for me? Which that I'll be able to show you that I was giving BNB to the whole team. I'll also be able to show you that I was a 5% holder of the Zoo tokens that I was promised to be given over the 3-month period, was never given. I can also show you that I was frozen out and was never given the 15 billion tokens back that I paid for in cash.
Okay.
I'll show you all of those things on the record, and then you can also say that I did sell, which is also true.
Yep.
But as long as it's accompanied with he was a founder that was supposed to be given 5% of the project and was never given the token or paid, worked for almost a year on the project. As long as that goes in with it, then at least that tells my side of the story so people understand that it's not like I was trying to rug a project.
This is so brutally honest. So not only does he admit to it, but he is also supplying all of the evidence as well. That is... Wow, what a great source. Hey, kind of like a lukewarm W from Jake there, because he just sinks everything. Like, he just fucks everyone equally, including himself. Very interesting strategy. That's a pretty crazy self-report on this whole situation. It blows my mind how, like, the dumbest people make the most money from this shit. This is not a smart man. He literally has admitted to a crime right now. I don't know if he realizes that. Like, if they ever do enforce crypto-related crimes, he is publicly admitted to one. And I guess potentially multiple, depending on all the evidence he's submitted here. And he's doing it with a goddamn smile on his face.
It's like I put $250,000 into a project, plus 6 months of time, and the founder never did anything he said he was going to do, and then hired a bunch of devs that didn't do what they were going to do, and every time I gave advice, the advice was I was told to fuck off. So it can be that story, or it can be he sold all this amount and he got in early. Well, yeah, that's like 1% of it though.
Incredible.
Well, we got the whole story
now. Sounds
now.
like he views himself as the victim, or at least like
or a hero.
He got screwed too, which just has to win the gold medal for me for mental gymnastics, because I mean, he literally had put $200,000 into this and he says he made millions of dollars. Even if you take him at his word that he didn't make the full 6 million, he admits to me later that it might be a pretty close guess. He tells me via text, quote, "I don't care if you tell people I sold a few million and leave it at that." Well, okay, $6 million, a few $1 million, it's millions of dollars, right? Millions of dollars when you only put in $200,000 into a project that's never been delivered, doesn't work, scammed people out of their money.
And was always designed to be a money-making scam.
In the wrong. Well, in his view, What he did was not wrong. It might have been arguably unethical, but it wasn't illegal. And what Logan did, well, that was illegal.
You can say the timing was bad and it was inappropriate to sell, but the reality is I bought tokens open market and sold them open market. So there was nothing illegal about that. Ethically, arguable. The rest that Logan did to me was ethically wrong and illegal.
Now, what do I think of all this?
This would be amazing. Imagine Jake presses charges and tries to sue Logan Paul and the team. This is such an interesting story because it is literally scammers scamming scammers, and then at the end of the day, the people that end up losing the most is normal people who somehow bought into the scam by proxy. But I feel like at no point, like this entire team ever understood anything about the space. They were all just trying to fuck each other. Like literally just swallowing each other's meat, like, and lying to each other. And like, this is crazy. This has so many moving pieces. Eddie was lying to everyone from the start. He never did anything for the project besides just fucking lie and sell hopium. Jake, from the start, was immediately fucking them and scamming them, buying tokens stealthily behind all of their backs in the effort to immediately sell to rug it. Regardless of what he says, that's clearly what he was doing. He was literally rugging it from the get-go. They had insider trading marketing protocols in order so that way they can continue to manipulate the market and profit maximally from it, that nobody followed and had to go by the trust system on, okay, follow our insider trading protocol. This is so wild. Holy shit. It is literally scamming at every possible avenue of this project. The developers never getting paid. Multiple developers never getting paid. Two different like developing orgs, I think, right? They had the first one where the code got held hostage and another one come in and still didn't pay. Apparently other team members not being paid. Like everyone got scammed at every level except Jake right now. He somehow still made out with millions. He was the last scammer scamming, standing atop the pile of corpses.
Finger pointing. Well, I think it's pretty wild to try to make yourself look like the lesser of two evils when you made millions of dollars and investors lost millions. I just do. Now, at the same time, I want to be fair to Crypto King. He's not the only one who sold here. But I also have to say, not everyone from the founders did sell. For example, Jeff, Logan's manager, to my knowledge, never sold. Neither did Logan Paul, which was a huge surprise. All their wallets that I tracked, held on to their tokens, which is good. And to their credit for a game that doesn't work. But you know who did sell? Eddie Ibanez. The guy who didn't pay the initial devs, the supposed MIT orphan. Yeah, from what I could see, his initial wallet got a ton of zoo, sent it to a bunch of smaller wallets, and then sold off, kind of like Crypto King. And for my calculations, he made about $1.7 million. Now, I have to tell you that like Jake, I tried to confront him and give him the opportunity to defend himself, but he never replied to my emails or my phone calls, and we're just gonna have to leave it there. But we're not done with the money just yet, because we still need to talk about the eggs. Remember, we talked about how they profited from ZooCoin, but they also made millions from eggs. According to their own internal meeting notes, they plan to make about $3 million selling these eggs for 0.1 ETH a piece. And that's not far from what I calculated they actually did make, which was about $2.5 million. In the meeting notes, they say they're going to clear expenses and then do payouts. But payout who? They don't say. And these expenses are referencing an earlier note suggesting Eddie and Logan had both spent $300,000 each, which I'll say is not $1 million. But okay, we'll give...
I will also say, I don't think Eddie has $300,000. This man's entire life is built on an empire of lies. Like, I don't think he even has this money. I feel like what happened here is Eddie said, yeah, I'll put in $300,000 for something here. And they're like, oh, okay, great, thanks, Eddie. And he just never did. And they never even bothered to circle back around to check on it. He does have 1.7 million now, though. True. Now he has money. There's the Prime Show and Westwood and the resub Gore and Banished.
But okay, we'll give it to him, right? So they got paid back their $600,000, but where does the rest of the money go? Well, on the Ethereum side, there's one payout for $364,000 to one wallet and another $1 million to another. They both are Coinbase addresses, so we don't know who exactly that is, but clearly someone on the team made a lot of money from these NFT egg sales that do not work. And on the Binance Smart Chain side, where they also made money selling eggs, the zoo that was spent was supposed to be set aside for 50% to be burned, which they did, but the other 50% was supposed to be allocated for wildlife charities and crypto zoo development. Now, neither seems to have happened because all the money is in a wallet that the team still controls, so there are open questions about, where that money is going to go and where the Ethereum money went. Did it go to Jake? Did it go to Logan? Did it go to Jeff? Did it go to Eddie? We don't know. But what I know for sure is that no one was innocent, although there are certainly shades of guilt you can argue about because, of course, not everyone did sell. You could look at that as the most important thing. Logan Paul didn't sell. Jeff, Logan's manager, didn't sell. But does that make them innocent?
No,
well,
not even close.
I don't think so because they never built
absolutely
the game they
not.
promised people. Logan Paul specifically got millions of dollars spent on this game on the promise of the technology that he never built, that his team never built. And he never addressed the failure except to blame his developers who weren't paid. And you could say he promised to work backwards to fix it, but then never did. But at the same time,
hey, there's still time. Maybe he's working on it right now.
Because there are major team issues, right? You've got Eddie selling millions of dollars of Zoo and then allegedly not paying developers. You've got Jeff, who was warned about Eddie, who kept him on the team anyways. And then after they fired Eddie, seems to also have failed to pay developers on time. And then you've got Crypto King himself, who sold the most, but claims he was the guy who was scammed, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's just like Avengers Assemble for the worst possible team you can imagine to build a crypto gang.
And
so,
all the Avengers are scammers.
A lot of these guys backstabbed each other. And so finding a way to wrap this up was difficult because it's hard to assign exact proportions of blame. Because if you focus on any one person, you kind of miss why this project failed. CryptoZoo, at the end of the day, did not fail because the price went too low. CryptoZoo failed because they never built a functioning game that they promised. Really, the number one problem, even bigger than people selling millions of dollars of tokens, was that they never paid the developers on time, as boring as that is. And as a result, the investors not only got rugged for millions of dollars, which is a problem, but they just didn't get the core thing they had bought from the beginning, which was not a crypto project, but something different.
I'm excited to launch.
Yeah, they bought into an idea.
You keep using
a bad
I
idea.
just did it again. You keep using a
and
word
nothing
there.
else.
Game. You're not using like a project. It's a game.
It's a game. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
Nothing more fun than looking at
that
PNGs
to me
and nothing else.
Is the biggest scam in all of this. Yes, it's a huge problem. People stole millions of dollars, but it's a symptom of the larger issue, which is people didn't actually care about the game or this, whatever you want to call it. They just cared about the money. And this is ultimately what happens when you have an influencer LARPing as a businessman. It's what happens when you have a liar LARPing as a developer. And it's what happens when you have a shady crypto guru LARPing as a crypto king. You end up with a mess, and in my personal opinion, a fraud as well. And now that this thing blew up in their faces, these four seem to be dodging accountability faster than SBF dodges calls with me. Because I have reached out to everyone involved, tried to get all of their statements on things.
Jake's very
So far,
open about it.
Has taken accountability or offered to refund the victims at all. They're all hiding, pretending these victims don't even exist.
I feel like Jake was very open about all of it. He just doesn't give a fuck, though. He's like, oh, they're scamming me, so I scammed them. But, at the end of the day, I was the victim, so fuck them. And he doesn't even acknowledge all of, the completely normal, innocent people that he also fucked in the mouth. Because he just doesn't care. That's just who he is. He is a biological, loser. He is born to be a sleazeball. It's what his whole career has been built on. This is just him. This is his soul. He just doesn't care. Thanks to the resub Carson and Bulldog and the Prime Smelly and the resub Zeal.
But they do exist. And throughout my investigations, they've been the heartbeat of this whole thing. So I decided to close this investigations in a bit of a unique way. Rather than me deciding who's to blame or me deciding what you should think,
Merry Christmas,
I want to
everyone.
give them the last word.
Happy holidays.
Everyone's to blame. Logan, in the sense of his poor management, is his project. He still made these promises to people.
I think everyone it is to blame, including Logan Paul, of course, because he was the one in charge of this, and he was responsible for all of this mess.
Everybody has a big part and a massive cross to bear.
Each one of them scammed the project in their own way, and then off to the sunset they went.
It was his job to check the team, to make sure that everyone is working together, to make sure that he is giving the funds of the people that put it into his project under his name to people that he actually trusts. So in my opinion, if the team failed to perform, that's Logan Paul to blame.
The community is destroyed.
Even in the face of all of this, I think they're still missing the core problem that Logan never had interest in them. Logan, obviously, with all the messages, obviously only did this to exploit them for money. He never cared about the project being good or anything like that. He didn't care if the team was managed properly. As long as he could get the bag at the end of it, that was clearly the main chief concern of his. And people are still trying, and I'm not blaming them. I don't want anyone to misconstrue this. But it's people still have this perception that he wanted to make the project work, but just wasn't good enough for it, when that was never the goal. That was never his intention with this project. It was a scam from the very start. Thanks, Resub Massive, Tempori, Dan in the Prime, Cash, and the 5 gift subs, Dense. Thank you, Dense. The Resub Radiator, Geo, and the Bits Terrible.
People is angry. They just want their money back. They just want their normal lives back.
Reimbursed.
Yep,
reimburse
absolutely
those loyal
reimburse.
fans that they have, or how to rebuild the project, actually deliver on the project.
Oh, no.
Those who are still holding their eggs, like I am.
No.
The zoo coins. So maybe
you don't want that. You do not want that. Reimbursement, yes. Rebuild the project, no.
they could just deliver what they promised, and that would give some redemption to this fiasco.
He's not said a word. That's as bad, or almost as bad, as taking the money. It's the not coming out and just being a man about it.
At least we deserve to know what was happening behind the scenes while we were waiting for almost a year and a half. The fact that we're hearing this information not from Logan Paul, but from pretty much an investigator, it really says a lot.
What did this loss mean to me? It meant a lot, not just personally, because I lost quite a lot of money. My kid and also my wife were invested. It was like telling a kid that Santa doesn't exist or something like that, because she really believed in all that game. She really believed in Logan Paul. Kids look up to that kind of people. So it was some kind of broken dream.
My mum was invested. My sister was also invested. So I mean, my daughter even had a couple of the eggs and animals, which the loss for them hurts the most, because obviously it's just not nice to see.
For somebody to win, somebody has to lose. That's a gamble you take, whether you get into crypto or not. I got in knowing that I could lose, which is fine. That's on me. But I thought if I lost something, it would be because I sold at the wrong time, or the game didn't earn as much as I thought it would, and therefore my things weren't as valuable. But you never go into it thinking it's not something that they're going to just sell out from underneath you, because they could make so much more if they actually delivered on what they said.
Not really, though. It's very expensive. Well, this project, not in particular. I actually think a group of like 3 college students could have made their game in a week. It is literally pictures that then combine 2 other pictures, and that's it. It's the simplest idea I think I've ever heard. It's also the worst idea for a game ever. But in general, that belief that they'd make more money if they actually delivered something good, I think is a little wrong, because it's too expensive long-term to develop something good, whereas they can just make a quick paycheck, bounce, and then do it all over again. That's very common in the space. There's just no incentive. Like, it's just much quicker and probably more lucrative to just immediately pull the plug and make that money.
Even if they delivered on close to what they said. And that's the thing is, you don't think they're going to Ruggy because there was so much money in a game wallet.
Ultimately, at the end, the way
And that's another thing, I'll say this again. In the crypto space, it is guilty until proven innocent. You should go into every crypto anything with the idea that this is a scam until I am proven otherwise. Because that is absolutely the safest way you should approach anything there. If you're so inclined, if you're a glutton for punishment that for some reason sees a crypto project you like.
the way I see it is it was fraud. Logan could have put out the red flags, told people to stop investing more into it, because people were investing into this project until the very last minute, where the ship was still just sinking down the ocean, and people were still putting their cash into it.
If I was on a call with Logan Paul, I would ask him, where did his redemption arc go? I think he was on such a good streak going about his YouTube career and boxing as well, and it's sad to see that because of money, once again, we have degraded down to stealing from his viewers.
What would I say to Logan Paul and his team if I could? Well, actually, I could, because I have an NFT from other project that gives me the right to see Logan Paul, to meet and greet with him. And I will actually use that right to tell him this story again, show him this video in front of me, and see how he reacts when he sees that my family, my whole family and my kid are affected with this situation.
Fuck, I feel so bad for this guy in particular. I really do. He bought into it so hard under the impression that Logan Paul, being in the position he is, wouldn't fuck him. I don't know if he's being sarcastic here. It doesn't strike me as sarcasm. Clearly, Logan would never actually honor this NFT promise. I mean, maybe now he would because the pressure's mounted so much thanks to Coffeezilla. Maybe now he actually would sit down and genuinely have a conversation with him and reimburse him. But prior to this, he wouldn't. He wouldn't piss in this guy's mouth if he was dying of thirst. Logan doesn't give a fuck. This NFT to meet Logan, he would have never honored it.
Because I think that's not human.
You would think that Logan would have told his fellow followers, his loyal fans, that, hey guys, back off, red flag, things are there's turbulence in the water. No, not a single word, nothing whatsoever.
To market products at children and knowing full well that his team is made up of people that he believes are shady characters. Yeah, he still goes on Forbes interviews and says the game is great for kids. It's gonna be amazing.
Who loves it most?
Oh, just read that sentence. Yuck. I think that's the most important thing we're doing, Paul said. Kids are gonna care about the blockchain because of my project. Oh, that makes you want to fucking puke. Imagine if your first experience on the blockchain is with Crypto0. Coming up with really, really fun plans for 6 months, a year down the line, 2 years down the line. Like, this could be one of the biggest things I do. Ugh. It's so gross. These are some cholesterol 80s artist. Young, Honorable, Mia, Mudkip, Joshua, Chaz, Maz, Zombie, and Drago.
Great for kids. It's gonna be amazing.
Who loves it most? The kids. Their kids love it.
Our developers' kids, all of them, cannot stop playing the game.
What are they playing?
Inhumane the way that side of it's been marketed.
Kids love looking at PNGs.
Knowing that all of the people that were there from the beginning, like all of the guys that I'd speak to on a daily basis, that we've all just got nothing now. Ideally, I just want to say I'll see you in court.
Hopefully you get the chance. Okay, there you go, Jeff. Fuck, this was so good. Fuck. Oh, I gotta hit up Coffeezilla. This was just unreal. me 2 seconds.
I uncovered a fraud worth $4 billion.
For the
Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, now I'm back. Thanks to the Prime, Abona, and the resub Jake, Devin, and Drago. Jake Crypto King replied to Logan and Coffee's tweet. I don't really give a fuck about his perspective, though. Like, legitimately, he was already an open book. I think he's already been hosed for all of the information he has in regards to this. Like, I think everything with him is very clear. Like, there's nothing with him or his motivation, what he did, or anything that I'm even confused on. Like, where there could be any wiggle room for an explanation. Like, this is just... That feels to me like clout chasing. I'll read his response real quick, though, just for the sake of getting everything, but... I mean, the guy is just an absolute fucking snake. Is the tweet you're talking about where he just replies to Coffeezilla's tweet about Logan subscribing to his Patreon? Because all Crypto King says is, but it's all on YouTube now. Is there more on Patreon? What am I missing? To answer your question, though, Crypto King, yeah, there's more on Patreon. So Coffeezilla has exclusive content over there, such as, like, interviews. One that chat's pointed out in particular is an interview with a single mother who got really fucked by this scam. If you'd like to hear from her, Crypto King, not that you give a fuck about human emotion. But yeah, his Patreon content is bangers. I don't see any other tweet from him about this. Nope, here's another one. This was a reply to Logan Paul's tweet about Coffeezilla being usually great, but wrong this time. He replied to a guy that said... hold on, where's the whole thread? Invite everyone Coffee called out, including Coffee, including myself, including a lot of other individuals that went unmentioned. That was Crypto King saying that. Thanks to the resub Lucat, Harry, and Tier 1 Sammy, and the resub Sig. Thanks to Tier 1 Vapor. Damn, that was so fucking good. Oh, Logan Paul putting out the response January 3rd. I know. It just seems more like an advertisement for his podcast. Right now, I'm 1 for 1 on predictions when it comes to this kind of shit. I think what Logan Paul, the angle he'll play, is he's going to kind of corroborate a lot of what Coffeezilla said here and focus entirely on just all of the other people that he's surrounded with that were scamming. Because everyone around him was scamming. That's very clear now. I think he's going to try and, like, preach his innocence by the fact that he didn't sell and that he went silent on the project. And he's going to say, like, he chalked it up to being, like, naive and afraid of backlash, which is why he didn't warn people sooner, and that he really had the best their best intention, like he had the best intentions with their money in mind about trying to deliver on this project at some point because he really wanted to make it right. But he's going to drill really heavily on Crypto King and Eddie. He's not going to touch on Jeff. To him, Jeff is going to do no wrong. He's not going to throw Jeff under the bus. It's going to be all Crypto King and Eddie who are the puppet masters They lied to him. They used him. They sunk the project internally. And he's going to only hinge his innocence on the fact that he didn't sell. I don't think he's going to address the millions that were made off of the egg sales. I don't think he's going to talk about that. It's going to be focused on just Jake and Eddie. That's my prediction. He won't touch on any of the other stuff. He's a prime angry. But I'd be very happy to be proven wrong. I'd like to see a very honest Logan Paul talk about like how he just got blinded by greed. He saw the crypto space blowing up and knew he could just emulate another project. It was never designed to be like a great game. He wanted just a money-making project. But he'll never do that. He's a resub Simu. Do you think he'll address the leaked texts? Yes. I don't think he's going to try and play them off as fake because those leaked texts come directly from like Crypto King and a certain... I think, right? Crypto King leaked the internal meeting logs. I don't know if he was the one that leaked the group text, but I don't think he's going to try and say those are fake. I don't think he's even going to try that angle because I think Coffeezilla could easily disprove that and that would immediately fuck him.